I live in Los Angeles. I have a company with my partner Alicia Dickens. We run a company called Dial C Costumes. We do custom costuming for large-scale projects, individual customers. If you played the Zelda Real Escape Room game, we made the costumes and designed them for that, for Nintendo and Scrap. We also designed costumes for the Final Fantasy Real Escape Room game. We do a lot of custom work for Marvel Entertainment. We did the Becoming costumes for the collaboration with Marvel Studios of Mantis and Yondu for Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and of Hela and Valkyrie with, oh gosh, I'm forgetting her name and she is absolutely wonderful. Limit Cluster, who's based out of New York. She did the helmet and we did the bodysuit for Hela, and we built the whole piece for Valkyrie. I also was in an episode of Marvel Becoming as Squirrel Girl, and we helped and assisted on the Kamala Khan, the Miss Marvel for Becoming as well. We built some pieces for Viz, and then we have a bunch of individual customers, including Taliesin Jaffe from Critical Role, which is so weird to say because I've known Taliesin since I was 14. So having him be like a person who does this big show is like weird for me. So, but I know he's always wanted to be Willy Wonka, so we built him a Willy Wonka costume. I'm sending around a little like scrapbook sort of portfolio, and it might be a little bit easier if you all moved in. If you need to leave though, or if you just want to sit on the edge because you're like air conditioning is great and I want to be there, that's fine too. Yes?
Are we able to close the door sauna?
Sure, we can close the door right now. I'll let them know that they can let people in as long as they're quiet.
Yeah,
Thank you. So, basically, I'm assuming everyone is here because they enjoy cosplay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Has anybody been to school for sewing or fabrication, or you guys just hobby, like to sew, getting better at sewing every day? Go to school? Go to fashion school. 100%. Like if you want to build it into a profession, take classes at community colleges or at trade schools. You don't have to necessarily get a degree, but absolutely take some classes. Go volunteer with the local theater, see if you can improve on your craft that way. Absolutely, like just build your skill set. From what I can see, everybody seems to have a pretty good base in the room, both in costumes and wigs and styling and makeup. Everybody looks amazing. Thank you again for joining me. Who wants to turn their cosplay hobby into a business? Thank you. Okay. So I've been a cosplayer and a seamstress for about 22 years. Wow. And it wasn't until 2016 that I started turning that into a career. Some of the best advice that I can give you is to find things that you're interested in and challenge yourself to build them. Whether it's building something, like learning a technique. Like there's people out there who are like, man, I want to learn how to make t-shirts. Literally, as simple as t-shirts. Start making t-shirts. Learn how to do them. Learn the kinds of stitching and the kinds of techniques to build them and the machines that you need to use for it, and find places where you can practice with those machines. But more than anything, if you do want to start a business, you should figure out what kind of business you want to be. So we are a limited liability corporation, so an LLC. If you're interested in becoming an LLC, chances are you can find a law school nearby who have a whole bunch of law students who are teaching or learning how to make LLCs for people, and they can typically do a workshop with you and help you to found your LLC. We were lucky enough to have a situation like that where we had somebody who was a lawyer, who's studying to be a lawyer, who basically helped us walk through all the paperwork for that, because a lot of lawyers actually they're the people who build that for you in the first place. All of the paperwork is available online, all the articles of incorporation, and it costs about $800 a year depending on your state. For the state of California, which is where we're based, it's $800 a year. But what that means is you're protected, and It means that, say for example, you have someone working in your studio and they get hurt. There is a limited amount to which they can sue you. It also means that you have a designation for how many people are part of your company. For example, Alicia and I are a partnership, so everything, all of our assets are split 50-50. We both came into the business with our assets and we listed out particular ones, and then if we were to dissolve the business, we would leave with those assets and then everything else would be split 50-50. There's a whole lot to going into a business. Does anybody have any particular questions? Yes, Nick?
Well, correct me if I'm mistaken, especially with an LLC as well.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you can be sued for the company, but not your personal life.
That's true,
So
yes.
you won't lose your house, your car, or anything. It's just a crazy habit.
Yes.
Not just the company, but
It would be the assets of the company.
yeah.
Yeah, they could sue you for the assets,
Right.
like the actual physical worth of the company, as opposed to, or like you said, your house, your car, your anime figure collection. Mine is particularly grand, so glad that's not included. But yeah, does anybody have any questions to start? Yes?
When you say assets you brought to the table,
Yes.
How do you go about proving those assets to get banks to support that for requiring, like, you require small business owners or consultation?
So typically you would start with a listed asset and then you would have either your lawyer would sign off on it, or you would have a notary basically notarize your list. There's steps that you can take for that kind of thing. So for example, I came in with an armada of sewing machines, and my partner came in with a small garage. So we noted out some of the stuff that we initially have. I have a very large collection of fabrics that we pull from, and whenever we pull, we just make a note in our sheets that, like, we pulled from Diana, we pulled this yardage, and we basically came up with a designate. So every piece of yardage in my in my backlog, we listed it at like $2.50 a yard, because I'm not gonna, like, if I don't want to use it, I'm not gonna use it. But like, if we're pulling from my stores, we list it at about $2.50, and we just mark it off, because it's asset that came out of the company, and then we just reimburse it to me. Or if Alicia brings something, we reimburse it to her. But yeah, yes.
When it comes to advertising, what's your like initial target audience for when it comes to who you want to advertise your business to?
We typically advertise our business to industry. Like, we start with industry. Like I said, I've been cosplaying for 22 years. I've worked with a lot of different companies over the years and have a lot of personal contacts. So when we put the company together, it was a case of, well, I have this very large Rolodex of people that I know need costumes, and we were approached by Scrap. Like, I was personally approached by Scrap for the Zelda project. They were like, do you want to do these costumes? And I was like, yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I would absolutely love to make these custom costumes for Nintendo and for you. Yes, absolutely. That would be great. And then I quickly realized that there was just no way to do them without a larger structure. And so Alicia and I put together the company based on that. Yes.
So, I believe the number is that 90% of small businesses fail within the first year.
Mm-hmm.
So how, like, I don't know if you have any tips for someone that's starting out, at risk. When do you know that there's a lot of, like, I don't know how to
I got what you're saying. So we have we basically have a 3, a 5, and a 10-year plan. And most businesses that don't fail tend to project out how they're going to grow and then how they're going to maintain. We keep a very good communication with each other, my partner and I. So, for example, last year and the year before that, when we founded the business, we focused directly on exponential growth. We wanted to get as many clients as we could and really build our reputation as people who can build. This year, we spent the first half of the year focusing on promotion, but we actively decided to focus on promotion.
So set like realistic expectations for yourself.
Exactly. Well, yeah, and again, for the 3-year plan is to maintain the relationships, keep a steady flow of business. The 10-year is confidential information that we can't really share, but you want to basically lay out a timeline of what it is that you wanna do. We also work with a financial advisor and a business advisor who helps guide us. So we tell him what we're doing and he gives us, based on his relationship with other clients, even though they may not be similar, how he thinks that would apply. Because that's the other thing, is that not every person who does the same thing that you do is going to have the same relationship with it. Like, we're very good friends with Kristen Carr, who's Space Invader. She's actually from Austin. She has her own business as well. She has a bunch of dedicated clients, and then she brings in individual clients, but her business model is very different from ours, and her client base is very different from ours. We tend to do larger scale. We also do a lot of, we do both custom fit pieces, so pieces that only fit one particular person, and then free fit pieces. So for example, the Zelda costumes that we built, we based them all off of aprons, because they were going to be worn by a bunch of different people, and we basically wanted it to fit anywhere from a small to a large, and then from a medium to an extra, extra large. So we did 2 sizes that could be adjusted in that way, because we didn't know who was going to be playing each character, what kind of body types worked for scrap. It was also going to be traveling around the country, and then we found out after it was also going to be going to Europe and Canada. So we wanted to make sure that we could have everybody accommodated or like easily adjusted to. So we used a lot of buttons, a lot of Velcro, and a lot of we based a lot of them on aprons. That was like a really big thing. I was like, let's just do the Zora symbol on the apron, and then we'll get a whole bunch of t-shirts, and then we'll change up the sleeves, but it'll be open so that you can, fit a lot of different people in it. And it worked out very well. Apparently they still have all these costumes, and they tend to wear them on Halloween, which is nice. I can't imagine how they smell now. Probably real good. Any other questions? Yes.
When it comes to networking, what also, like I said about African, where would you start with like networking? Do you start within like the comic community, or do you start more with like businesses, or?
Anywhere you go is a networking opportunity. You just have to be aware of timing, and you have to be aware of situation. So, you can pretty much go anywhere and just engage in conversation with people, and if you see the opportunity, you can sort of slip in like, oh yeah, by the way, I do this. That's honestly how we've gotten several of our jobs, and that's how, it's not that you have good luck, it's that you make your own luck. Is a commonly used phrase for that kind of thing. So, again, it's not, don't assume that you're going to just, it's going to fall into your lap. We hustle quite a lot, but you can find opportunity here. I put in a lot of time with American Cosplay Paradise as a volunteer, and that puts you in contact with a lot of people. But the other thing is that if you're going to throw yourself out there, you have to back it up. You can't just be like, hey, I make a costume, and then you show up and the costume's falling apart, or it can't be worn by another person, or it's not what the client needs. We work individually at other jobs as well as for our business. And again, my background is, it's a cosplay background with, I also have a fashion degree, and then my partner has a fashion degree, and she also works in the costume department for Universal Studios in Hollywood. So we do this a lot. If you're sewing, you have to sew every day. Well, okay, you don't have to sew every day, but it helps to sew often. Not bad. Again, making sure that it's such a strange, weird thing that I never thought I would, a position that I never thought I would be in, was somebody who started as a hobby and then turned it into an actual business. So I'm not always sure how to help people how this happens.
Yeah, it's not helpful.
No, it's not. But yeah, any other questions before I keep traveling? Yes. Yes. Well, you would photograph, like, so your list would be like an itemized list. You take a photograph of the item, you decide on a value between yourself and your partner, but it's literally just the actual machine itself. So like, for example, I have multiple overlock machines. One of my overlocks broke. We purchased a new overlock machine. It broke in service of our company. So we determined a value. So let's say $700 is the value of that broken machine. And then we purchased a new overlock machine for more than $700. So if we were to dissolve the business, either I would take the machine to replace mine and then pay the difference, minus the usage of it into our company, and then that asset would be split. The other thing is, again, go into business with people that you know who are honest, who, you know, you can both come to the table with the things that you're going to be using, and, you know, like, be accountable to each other. That's a really, really important thing. You know, if you can't make something, or if you can't do something, or if you don't want to do something, tell the other person. I'm incredibly lucky in that if Alicia doesn't want to work, or if she can't work, she lets me know, and we determine something else, like we work around that. And the same goes for me. I'm like, you know what? I would love to work, but I have to do this other thing, or I'm sorry.